And the last class, we were able to actually start our discussions around managing incidents using Microsoft 365 Defender, where we look at the Microsoft 365 Defender portal. We're able to look at different parts of the Microsoft 365 Defender portal, from the Defender for Office 365, Defender for Endpoints, Defender XDR, Defender for Cloud Applications, Defender for Identity, Defender for Vulnerability Management. I still need to even check that. Then we went into the Azure portal to see the Defender for IoT, as well as Microsoft Sentinel. Then I think we look at Defender for Cloud also on the Microsoft Azure part. Then we're able to also talk about some other portal like the Microsoft Preview Compliance portal, the Microsoft Entra ID, the Microsoft Entra ID Protection, the Azure Information Protection portal, then the Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Then we look at some rules and permissions, basically for some of those portal, like having either being is global admin, which is a super admin for the tenant, and also a security admin, depending on the role. Also compliance admin, then security operator, security reader, and as well as the global reader. So those are like the major roles that one need to have if you're going to do anything in security side of things, depending on your job descriptions, basically. And we wanted to start our discussion on managing of incidents. Yeah. So for the Microsoft Defender portal, apart from looking at all those different portal, there's something that we actually see in the Defender portal. By the time we sign in, we'll see some of these things. The first one is incidents. The second one is alerts. The third one is talking about hunting. Number 4, talking about action center, then secure score, endpoints, emails and collaboration, reports, settings and permission. So some of these things we are going to actually see them in today's class, and also see how it can help us as a security operator analyst. So this portal is a very important URL, because most of the things we'll be talking about is actually on this URL, apart from the stuffs on the Azure side of things. So is a specialized workplace designed to meet the needs of security teams. So just having access to that Defender portal alone gives you everything. I told you that Microsoft is trying to bring everything into a single pane of glass, right? So each of those Defender portal, Microsoft is trying to bring them together into one place at a time. Now, when we talk about managing incidents in Microsoft 365 Defender XDR. So Microsoft Defender XDR provides a cross-domain threat correlation and purpose-driven portal to investigate threats. And when you talk about incidents are based on related alerts created when a malicious event or activity is seen on your network. So individual alerts provide a valuable clue about an ongoing attack. However, attacks typically employ various vectors and techniques to carry out a breach. Either piecing through individual clues together. It can actually be challenging and also be a time consuming. So when we look at incidents, right, is a collection of correlated alerts that makes up the story of an attack. And Microsoft Defender XDR automatically aggregate malicious and suspicious events that are found on different device, user, and even a mailbox entity in the network. So it's going to do what? It's going to group related alerts into an incident, and gives security defender a comprehensive overview of an attack, right? So the defender itself, incident in defender is collection of correlated attacks, right? And associated data that make up the story of the attack, basically. And sometimes what security defender can see where an attack starts with the incident, right? So what tactics were used by the bad actors and how far the attack has gone into the network. And security defender can also see the scope of the attack, like how many devices, how many users and mailbox were impacted, and how severe the impact was. So the severity level is also something that security defender will see with the help of the incident portal. So and any other details about the affected entity. So if you enable it majorly, what Microsoft Defender XDR can automatically investigate and resolves the individual alerts through what we call automation and artificial intelligence. So what that does is that it allows the security defender to perform on more remediation steps to resolve the attack straight from the incident view. And one thing you have to note again is that incidents from the last 30 days are the only one that is shown in the incidents queue. So it has to be the last 30 days. That means every month, right, the security defender team are expected to actually work on incident. Or else, once that incident is more than 30 days, it will be gone. So from that incident portal again, security defender can see which incidents should be prioritized based on risk level and other factors. So, and security vendor can also do a lot of things to the incident, like renaming the incident, assigning them to individual analysts, classifying the incidents, and even adding tags to incidents for better and more customized incident managed experience. So most of the time, what attackers are doing is that they are either attacking users or they are attacking their device, maybe by sending them a link that has malware, or they are attacking their mailboxes, like spamming their emails, sending phishing emails, right? And once from all these entities that you have, which are all the Microsoft 365 services, this talks about the identity side of things. This talk about the endpoint. Why this talk about the email services. So every incident from these three entities creates an alert in the Microsoft 365 Defender, and that's for the threat intelligence. So in terms of using the Microsoft 365, use the threat intelligence to actually correlate the alerts and put them in the incident portal. Let's jump into the admin center and see. So again, if you go, you can either go through security.microsoft.com or you go through your Microsoft 365 admin center. I'm currently signing with an admin account. So if you are going to the Microsoft 365 admin center, just come down to the admin centers here. The first one is security. So I believe Microsoft is intentional about that because they know that security is actually very important. So they are being intentional about putting the security blade as the first one. So once we get to the security center, we'll be able to see different things that are available for us there. So we did a bit of overview the last time that we met, overview of how the security center, talking about each of these cards, how you can move the cards based on what you want. And another thing I want to point out is that when you go to investigation and response here, so as a second blade, you will see incidents and alerts. Now, when you click on this incident and alerts, again, the first slide that I showed earlier that has every other thing I mentioned, incidents, alerts, hunting, right? They're actually some of the things that are here. So under the incidents and alerts, you will see incidents and you see alerts. So if your tenant is just a demo environment, not a production instance, there is every possibility that you're not going to see any incidents at all, right? But doing some activities, doing some malicious activity, with the tenants, which we're able to do in the course of few days ago, it was what actually, give us these two incidents here. So what are some of the things you can do? Now, before we jump into some of the things you can do with this incident we have here, it is very important to, prioritize incidents. Now, what happens, Microsoft Defender XDRs applies correlation analytics and aggregates all related alerts and investigation from different products into one incident. Now, currently now, I have two incidents here, multi-stage incidents that involve, so when I just over it, tells me the full thing that is there. So I can see multi-stage incidents involving initial access and credential access involving one users. Then I can see the second one that talks about anonymous IP address involving one users. So what Microsoft does is that based on based on the name, Microsoft has using the MITRE attack. Microsoft has like a name that they use to classify each of those incidents. So if the incident involves, because this incident was actually involving just one user, that's why it's added involving one user here. And this one too, it was just involving one user. If there are multiple users that this was affecting, so let's say there are 10 users, for example, now you might see the name that says something like anonymous IP involving 10 users. Then you know that, oh, I have more things to worry about. So all the related alerts are aggregated. If I come down to alert here, I'm going to see all the alerts. So I can see like 4 alerts here: the anonymous IP address, the anonymous IP, the password spray, and also the malicious IP. If I go back to my incident here, and there are things I can do here. I can see a box here that I have option to check. I can also see a greater than sign here, or call it an angular arrow, to actually expand a group of incidents here. Then the next I can see is the name of the incident, then the incident ID. So these are things that are provided by default. Then if they are tagged to that incident, maybe as a security analyst, after analyzing the incident, you can group or tag the incidents based on the organization's maybe you have a naming pattern or a naming convention. You can use that. Then the next you see here is the severity of the incident. So the severity here, we have this to be high and we have this to be minimum. Then investigation states if a particular SOC analyst or SOC engineer have started working on the incident, right? You'll be able to see the state of the investigation here. Then the categories of the incidents. So it's grouped this into initial access and also credential access. So there are several categories. Then it's also highlights which user is the impacted user here. So I'm able to see, oh, this is relating to these users and this is also relating to these users. Then how many active alerts are for each of those incidents? Now, I told you that incident is like an aggregation of alerts, right? So how many alerts are there? So I'm able to see the number of alerts. Then if I go to the right again, I'm able to see where are the sources that this incident are coming from. So I'm able to see that the sources is identity protection, and the detection source is so this AAD is Azure Active Directory Identity Protection. Though Microsoft has renamed it to Microsoft Entra ID Identity Protection. Then what was the last updated time for this incident? I'm able to see it. Then the last activity, I'm also able to see it. Is there any data sensitivity? Then the status. Is it an active incident, or so we'll be able to see all of that. So I just wanted to show the overview before we actually, dive into, understanding the incident. Now, again, Microsoft Defender XDR also triggers unique alerts on activities that can only be identified as malicious given to an end-to-end visibility that Microsoft Defender XDR has across the entire estate and suite of the product. So I told you that the Microsoft Defender XDR is aggregation of from Defender, from identity, endpoint, from Office 365, right? So it aggregates the entire suite of the product. And what this view does for you is that it gives you or us as a security analyst, it gives us as a security analyst a broader attack story, right? Which can help us to better understand and deal with complex threats across the organization. And most times the incident queue. So what we call the incident queue is just the list of. So if you are in a production environment, for example, now I'm sorry I can't sign into a production instance. I'll have shown you because of PR here. If you're in a production environment, you see a lot of this incident listed here. So we call that the incident queue, right? So the incident queue shows a collection of flag incidents across three areas I mentioned: devices, users, and what? Mailbox. So it helps you sort through incidents to prioritize and create and inform cybersecurity response and decision. So it's very important. So like this severity here, this severity is one of the ways that you use to prioritize it. It's telling me that this incident is actually a high level incident and this is medium. So between high and medium, which one am I expected to prioritize? I'm expected to prioritize one that is saying so high, right? Instead of going for the medium one. Now, I mentioned again that by default, the queue in the Microsoft Defender portal display incidents seen in the last 30 days. That's why the most recent incident is at the top of the list, so you can see it first. So out of these two incidents now, this like the most recent, right? If I go to the right, I'm able to see the date. So this happened 5:31 p.m. Why this happened 3:05 p.m. So which was the recent? Okay, I think this last updated. Let me be sure. Last updated. So this is September 5th. Why this is September 6th. So this was more recent than the one below it. And for again the incident queue exposes a customizable columns that gives you visibility into different characteristics of the incident or a contained entity. So remember again, the three entity for incidents are what? We have the identity, that's the user, then the device, and also what? The mailbox. So for more clarity at a glance, there is automatic incident naming generated incident, right? Based on the alert attribute. So I mentioned that this name that you're seeing here is automatically generated from Microsoft side, right? The idea is that, okay, this is based on the alert attribute, the number of endpoints affected, the user affected, even the detection sources or the categories. So automatic naming allows you to quickly understand the scope of the incident. Like just reading this anonymous IP address involving one users, this gives you an idea that, oh, the issue is the incident has to do with an anonymous IP and just one user is also affected. Now, for the sake of this class, we have different filters, available here. Now, if you see for up here, you're able to see status. The status, it's filtered this by new and in progress. Then it's filtered by alert severity by high and medium. That's why we have this. If I change this filter from high and medium, to maybe high alone, that means it tells me that on this page, the incident queue, the only incident I'm going to see, maybe my organization or my SOC team, we want to focus on just high severity incidents only. So we can set our filter to based on just what? High only, in such a way that the only incident to be seen in this incident queue will be the high one. And we also have the filter. We have the option to actually add filter here. So there are other filters that are available for us. Maybe we want to filter by incident severity. Let me add this to them. Incident severity. So I'm saying any. So if I need to select this, so let me say incident severity by I. Let me apply that. So you notice that this is going to change to just the I. If I change it and say okay, I want both I and medium, then I expect what? the both of them to actually, change. So another thing you can do in terms of status is that you can choose to limit the list of incidents based on their status to see which one that is currently active or the question that is resolved. Like if you click on this status, for example, now you want to see, okay, I want to see just new incidents only and apply. What this is going to do is that it's going to categorize it's going to give me on my incidents queue. I only see just new incidents. If I click on this and select, okay, I want to see both the one that's new and also the one that are in progress, and apply. So it's still going to, give me that depending on the number, because sometimes you can have thousands of incidents, under this place, and you need that status, to be able to, let's say, for example, you need to give a report to your manager, or you need to give a report to the business leadership of all the incidents that the team were able to resolve. So instead of selecting all, you can just uncheck this and select which one is resolved and apply. Currently, I don't have any incident resolved, so I don't expect anything to show up here. Or do I? That means okay, these are automatic incident. Let me check the time. So personally, I didn't really resolve anyone. So these are the ones that were actually resolved automatically. So there are some, you can see a list of all the incidents that we actually, resolved. So I'm able to, export this one and put in my report. So they are able to see that, okay, this our Microsoft Threat Intelligence is able to resolve the following incidents. You understand? Do you have any questions so far? Any questions so far?
No.
All right. So another thing is we mentioned incidents and severity here, high, medium, and low, right? So the severity of an incident is actually an indicative of the impact it can have on your assets. So the higher the severity, the bigger the impact, and typically it requires the most immediate attention. So I mentioned it that and it's even a common sense that you're working in an organization as a SOC analyst, and you come to your incident portal and you're seeing high incidents, you're seeing low incidents in terms of severity, and you're seeing medium incidents. What is expected for you to do by common sense is to what? Focus on those incidents, that are actually what? High. So for this to be marked as high, because the threat intelligence is actually Microsoft AI and machine learning working, that have been trained with billions of data, to understand severity of incident because of the impact of those incidents on organizations. So organizations are reported those things and or they've seen how the impact of those incidents has been on different organizations' operations, maybe affecting the users, affecting their mailboxes, or even going as far as on, affecting, their devices. Then other thing we can do under this incident is the incident assignment. So let me do something here. So let me pick this first incident, for example. Now I have the option to either check this. Once I check this, if you notice something, I selected it, it tells me that one has been selected here. And pay attention here. Here I only have export, then copy, link list. But when I select this, I have what? Manage what? Incident available for me. So I can click on this manage incident. It's going to bring a right pane for me. So we call this anything that pops up like this from Microsoft, we call it pane, P-A-N-E, right? Now here I have things around the incident name. So I told you that this incident name is actually given by default. So if, for example, we have as a SOC team, right? We have about 7 in our team, and any incident like this internally between us, we already have a naming convention, right? I have the option to change the name of this incident based on the naming convention that the team has. So that if any other person in the team, right, maybe a new person is joining the team and we share the documentation of our naming convention with the person, right, the person is able to understand that, okay, any incident that is named like this, the incident means this. We've documented it internally between the team, and we're able to say, okay, when you see any incident like this should be the name. So by default, Microsoft gives us this name. So if this name doesn't, is not in line with the naming convention that we give such an instance internally, we have the option. So Microsoft make it so easy that we can actually rename the incident, right? So if I want to rename, I don't want to touch anything here. But if I want to rename this, I can actually rename this. I can say incident priority 1. So let's say that is the naming convention we give to any incident like this internally, right? Why? Because I know that the incident Microsoft already marked its eye. I even have the option to say, oh, Microsoft didn't tag the severity very well. Maybe it's an incident that we are aware of. We know that it's not severe. You have even the option to change, the severity level from high. You can downgrade to medium. You can downgrade to low, or you can downgrade to informational. That's when the team is aware that, oh, this kind of incident, maybe Microsoft machine learning is not well trained to understand this particular incident, right? So any feedback you are giving here is sending information back to Microsoft Threat Intelligence to tell you that any incident of this stage or any incident of this kind is not actually high, is medium. So going forward, what happens is that when such incident happens again, because the Microsoft Threat Intelligence from your organization, based on the algorithm, we've changed such an incident severity level from high to medium. Going forward, if similar incidents happen, what is going to happen is that Microsoft is not going to target high for you. It's going to target as what? Medium. Now, the next one we'll call the incident tag. So if you notice here, under the tags here, this is missing. So this tag is also another functionality that the team, the SOC team internally can also use. Okay, let's say that we have different tag for this an incident. Let me be sure what this is first. Let me just drop this down first and check something. So I have a lot of stuff here. I have a malicious IP, password spray, and all that. So I'll just use any tag, right? Let me go back and say. So when you begin to type something here, any incident that actually looks like that name, I'm not sure if they have any tags. So I don't have any tags, created. So the SOC team can actually, create tags based on incidents. Maybe from the learning that you've already learned about each of these incidents. Okay, when you see any incident like this is the tag I want to target for. So that internally, when I tag an incident, if anybody in my SOC team sees that incident, sees that tag, the person will know that, oh, this incident, this is what he's talking about automatically, right? And another thing is that it helps a person to even know that, oh, this particular incident must has actually been reviewed by one of the SOC team, because the idea of the incident management here is to actually, find a way, such a way that as a SOC team, you're able to manage each of those incidents, effectively, such a way that is not going to actually the team can work together as one. So you can create tags. So I currently don't have any tags. So let me just create a tag, call it malicious, right? So I'll just say create new. And the other thing that I'm seeing is password spray. I can call it password spray. So I'm creating new. And another thing I can see also is anonymous IP. So automatically those tags are currently being added to those incidents. Now, the assigned to at this point, this incident has not been assigned to any of the SOC engineer, right? So we have the option to assign it. But for now, when it comes to this managed incident, when you view any incident as a SOC engineer, the only option that you have here under assign to is you can only assign to yourself. But now Microsoft make it easier that, okay, we can have a SOC team of 5 engineers, right? And maybe let's say I'm the lead of the SOC team, right? And I want to assign to any of my engineers, and I know engineers that are good with a particular set of incidents, right? So I can say, okay, let me assign it to. So I can just either search. So this is going to basically search my Active Directory. So you can see the first thing is assigned to me. So if I want to work on this incident directly as a team lead of the team, I can just select this and the incident will be assigned to me. Then if there's any other person in my team that I know that can handle this incident better, I can just search for the user. So let me just search for one of my user. So I can select the user. Then what is the current status of this incident? So this incident is active, right? So if it's an incident that is currently in progress, maybe it's just happening, I can select the status to in progress. And if this is an incident that we've worked on as a team, and we are sure that it's not happening again, and the incident has been resolved, we can change the status to incident has been resolved here. So explain why you resolved this incident. So you have to give an explanation so that if another person is revealing the incident reports in the future, the person will be okay, these were the things that were carried out on this incident, hence the incident was resolved. I hope that makes sense. Then in terms of classification too, so we have Microsoft have some preset classifications for incidents, right? So classification like multi-stage attack, like you can even see this one now is what is a multi-stage incident. So it's a multi-stage because it has things that hangs around malicious IP, password spray, and also the anonymous IP. Let me change this to malicious IP. All right, great. So I've already assigned to DG, then it's still active. In other words, DG is going to receive um it's going to be aware that this incident has been assigned to me. It's going to work on it. So this particular incident is a multi-stage, right? Which is a true positive. So I'll select, okay, it's a multi-stage incident. But if it was just instead I have to do with malicious user activity, I will select this. Then if there are incidents that is actually informational, right? Maybe in our organization, like we are doing testing, like all these things, all these things that are happening, the way testing I was doing, so I can just select security testing. So what happened is that the security team will be aware that, oh, this incident was something that we are testing internally as a team. So I'm able to classify as security testing, then I'll save. So once it is saved, you're able to see an update incident updated successfully, right? Gives you the time that it was done. So you can see that this incident didn't have a tag for. So by now, the incident already, have a tag. Then if you scroll to the right, you're able to see other things that were done on the incident. So he's telling me that the last updated time, because I just updated this incident, then it is there already, right? Then who was assigned the incident? So this was assigned to this user. Then the classification is being positive. Then determination. So you're able to see that it is what security testing. Then I can now. So if I'm good with this filter, if I want to add other filter, right, I can add other filter. So based on what I really want to, check in terms of incidents. So I can add those filters so that those are the things I'll be seeing at a go. I'll be seeing those filter. So there's something maybe I want to add entities, for example. Now I want to see maybe is it a mailbox that is affected, right? Is it a mailbox that is affected, or is it a user account, or is it a device? I'm able to type in, let me see the entity. Let me just type in something here. Let me apply it. So it's going to actually filter the incident based on this guide I've typed in, but I don't want this entity. So I can remove it so I can still have my incident. Then what does that have? So you can add filter based on what you actually, basically want to see. Now that's about incident assignment. Then another option that is available for us is multiple service source. So it can be no by default. Then if you want to enable, you're able to change that to yes. I'm trying to see that if you have it along here. So you don't have it there. So that's the first option there. That's when you click on this box, you have the option to click on manage incidents. And the goal at the end of the day is to, maybe change, assign, and also classify the incidents. Now, the second option we have here is this angular brackets or greater than sign. If you click on this and drop it down. So this is basically what it's going to do is that it's going to give you alerts of that incident. So I told you that incident is an aggregation of alerts, right? So these are different alerts that actually made up of the incident. These are different alerts that actually made up of the incident. So if I check this, for example, I have the option to check this once I click on the drop down, maybe I just want to work on this alert, for example, now. So I'm able to see. So if you notice, as soon as I check this, I have the option to manage alerts, or I want to link this alert to another incident. Manage alerts means that I want to review and check, okay, because that incident was assigned to this user, so automatically the alert was also assigned to the user. But if it is at an alert level, I want to assign it. What it means is that it is not the overall incident that will be assigned to the user. Rather, it is the alert, this particular alert I just selected, that will be assigned to the user. And I have the option to even change this alert, right? So if I want to change from security testing to, okay, this particular alert is malicious, so malicious IP. So I can just select this one that says malicious IP. Make it as a classification. Is it true positive, malicious, user some activity? Then the status, how the status, okay, this is new, this is resolved, or this is in progress. So in progress is when the SOC engineer is working on the incident, right? And you're able to get to the root cause of what caused the incident. Once the incident has been remediated, then the status goes to resolve. So as soon as the status goes to resolve, you have to put a comment. Okay, what were the things that were done on the incident to show that that particular on the alert, to show that that particular alert has actually been resolved. Then you can click on save here, basically. So if you still go back to the drop down, so you still have it. So anything you do, irrespective whether this incident you have is thousands, right, hundreds, is the same thing that you do. So it's basically the same thing. Now for in terms of service source, right, you can filter to see only incidents that contains alerts from different sources. Sources that includes either Microsoft Defender for endpoints, or Microsoft Cloud Apps Security, or Microsoft Defender for Identity, or Microsoft Defender for Office 365. So if you want to add a filter, let me see the product name. Right. So for this detection sources here, so because all these things are actually from the same place, they are all from the Azure Active Directory identity protection. So we have that option available. I think this has actually been moved. Let me see. So they used to be filtered by different products. Okay, I will check that out if that option is still available somewhere. Then I mentioned about tagging of the incident, which is tagging it based on what the incident was. So we're able to tag, so you're able to see that there are related traits that talks about yeah, you have the option to view the, but I don't want us to over jump that yet. Still go into that. All right. So for another filter that is available is you can also filter, by either using category. I mentioned that by focusing on specific tactics, techniques, or the component seen. Then another one is you can filter by entities. So filter by either the entity name or the ID. So talking about the email address or the device ID. Then again, another one that is available here that you see is data sensitivity. Now, some attacks focus on targeting to exfiltrate sensitive or valuable data, by applying a filter to see if sensitive data is involved in the incident. You can quickly determine if the sensitive information has been compromised, and if a compromise is found, you can actually prioritize a response to those incidents. So what the filter does is that it's only applicable if Microsoft Purview information protection is actually turned on. I'll show you how that can be done. So that's under data sensitivity. Then another one that is available is device group. Let me see if it is here. So device group. So you can filter by actually define device group. Then other filters are available. You can filter by the OS platform. So this it limits the incident queue by operating system only. So if you are in an environment that uses Mac OS, that uses Windows PC, and as well as Linux OS, right? You can also filter by using the OS platform. Then another one is you can base your class, you can do classification. So by filtering incidents based on set of classifications of related incidents, and the value must actually include a true alert or a false alert, or is not set for in terms of classification when you're classifying the incidents. And also for automated investigation states. So we notice that by the time we filter by resolved, we're seeing some incidents that are actually already, resolved. When you added resolve here and apply, you're able to see other incidents that were actually there that have been resolved. So those are like automated investigation states. So that's the AI or the machine learning for the threat intelligence has actually, worked on that. Then the last one, which is not the least, is the associated threats. So you can select or type associated threat field, which allow you to enter the threat information, and it will bring up previous search criteria for you to bring up previous search criteria. So let me go back to, let me remove this resolve and apply. So these are some of the things you can do for incidents. Now, for this, in terms of preview, so we've checked this by checking the managed incidents. Then we've also done this by seeing all the alerts under the incident. The third thing is by actually clicking on the incident itself. Now, by the time we click on the incident, that is where we're able to, do more things, right? For example, now this particular incident is a multi-stage incident that involves initial access and credential access involving one users. So I'm able to see at a glance from this dashboard, I'm able to see the severity of the incident. I'm able to also see the status active. Then I'm able to see the engineer that the incident has been assigned to, then all the tags that are actually applicable to this incident. Also, I'm able to also click on here to manage the incident. So it takes me back to the first option where I change where I added the tags and also assign the incidents. Then also if there are activity logs on this incident, right? I'm also able to see all the other activities that has happened on the incident. So these are just basically for audit purposes, right? So for example, now I changed the determination from not available to security testing. Then I classify this from not set to informational and expected activity. Then the incidents are assigned to this. So that actually shows different activities that has actually, that are part of that has been done on that particular incident. Then the other one is the attack story. So what is the attack story? So the attack story is like giving me step by step of, if I click on play attack story, for example, now I'm able to see what happened. So this plays for me that okay, there was first of all a malicious IP address which happened, the time it happened, both the date and time is given to me here. Then also there is a parcel spray that is currently in progress, right? And also the analyzer. So these are like things that has happened. Like attack story is like how were the alerts aggregated to form the incident. And I'm also able to see the incident graph. So it's telling me that this user was trying to, sign in from a malicious IP address. So it mentions the IP address here. Now, if I'm going to do other things for this IP, like this, if I click on this now, you just tell me that I'm able to check the user details. Then if I want to pin the related alerts, I'm able to do that. If I want to hide related alerts, I'm able to do that there. And we have your zoom button available for you here. So in case you need to see what is happening, based on the attack story. that was available. So if I click on the IP address here, so I'm able to see what is the IP details. So this gives me more details about the IP, right? It tells me that the organization ISP is this, the country is this. So it's telling you that I signed in from this country, in which this is not my current location. Yeah. Then the state, the city itself, then the carrier, right? It even goes as far as telling me the latitude, the longitude, the postal code. Then what are the detections? 3 active alerts in one incident. And I'm able to even drill down by clicking on view all incidents and alerts in the IP page. So what this does that? So it takes me inside again to go. I'm just checking over this alerts, this IP rather is available. What are the incident and alerts that are associated with the IP? So it still take me back to the same particular incident. And if I drop that open, I'm also able to see the alerts. Let me go back here again to see other things. So anything you click on here, you're able to give get more details, right? Get additional details about the incident, who the incident was assigned to, what is the incident ID, right? What is the classification, what are the categories of the incident, when did the first activity happen, the last activity, I'm able to see it. Then is there any imparted assets? Do you have any assets in the organization that were imparted? It's going to list that out to you. So is there any imparted user? So it tells you that this is the user that has been imparted. Then it gives you other things on the state of the alerts relating to that incident. So you say I'm having 3 alerts, is 0, medium. So it's telling you that I have 2 more. So here, if I click on this view all alert now, it's going to show me every other alert that is associated with the incident. So what it does is that it just moves me from this attack story page here. It moves from this attack story page here to the alerts page here. Then before I go to the alerts, still on the attack story here, I'm able to see the incident graph here. So I have the incident graph, which layouts, if I select that, there's a default which is layout. If I want to align by entity types here, I have the option to, this just align the incident for me based on the layout I've selected. So I'll go back to the default that was there. Then for grouping similar loads, so if there are some other similar loads that are actually available, I can check this option. So it's turned on by default. So if I turn it off, so I'm going to see this thing still available for me there. So let me leave it by default. Then under alerts, for the alerts, so this basically shows me all the alerts under this particular incident, right? It shows me all the alerts that are currently present under the particular incident. So if they are new, like this one is saying that this is new, why these other 2 are currently in progress. So basically the same thing too. You have the filter options available for you here. So you can choose to add filter. Let me add filter severity. Let me also add the filter product name. Let me see add. Under product name. So I have identity protection and also this thing. So let me leave it as any. So if I go forward here, it's able to show me the detection source for each of the alerts. I'm able to see who the alert has been assigned to. So it's saying that these 2 has been assigned to. So this ID you're seeing now is actually the ID of the user, right? That I assigned the alerts to. Basically, I'm able to see that there. So the idea is just to have a form of a drill down into each of the alerts. So if I go into the alert now, if you notice, it has thrown me from this incidents page here on the left-hand side. Now I'm currently inside the alert. Why? Because inside this incident, I'm currently viewing a particular alert, which is tied to this particular alert played here. So inside here, I'm able to see, okay, this give me the alert story. What is the alert story? That's actually what happened, basically. So it tells me that there's a sign in from an anonymous IP, e.g. a Tor browser or anonymizer VPNs. So this rich event type indicates signing from an anonymous IP address. So it just told me if I want to read more, I have the option to read more about the, alert story. So it tells you that this alert is triggered by Azure Active Directory IP detection. So I'm able to click on this to actually go to the IP detection page where it was detected. So this is actually taking me into the Microsoft Azure portal, and it's taking me to one of the blade in the risk detection, right? Let's see. So that's say that both the Defender portal and both the Microsoft Azure Identity Protection, they actually work together. So it's able to, it takes into the risk detection. So all the risks that has actually been detected based on the time it was detected, the user, the IP address, the location, the anonymous IP address, right? The type of detection, then the risk state of the alert. The risk level is also there. Then the request ID basically. So that's where it's to tell you where that was actually detected. That's a Microsoft Entra ID. IP protection. So you're able to see activities by timelines there. So it gives you the timeline, the sign-in location, right? I was never in this location when I sign in. I actually use the Tor browser to generate these alerts anyway. So the sign-in request ID also. Then I'm able to also see what are the risky sign-in. I'll come here, but let me see the risky sign-in also. So if there any related risky, so is there no related sign-in event for? So if there is any signing event that is actually, found related to this, it's going to also, put that out there for me. Then again, if you come to this right screen here, you're able to, you have the option to also manage the alert, like I mentioned, the status of the alert, who the alert is assigned to. So I mentioned that's like the user ID. I mean, there's a name we'll call this ID, that's like the identity for the user that was assigned to, then the classifications and all that. Then again, it gives me that the details here is I unknown. Then in terms of classification, it was classified as true positive. So if I feel that this is wrong, I can click on set classification here. I'm able to select this and say, oh, this is not set. I can select that and save that also. So it will basically update that particular alert for me. And you'll be able to see that it's already saying that it is unknown and the classification is not set here. Then for the alert detail, so in terms of alert details, it tells you that under category is actually an initial access. So this basically here gives you a drill down of the incident or the alerts that I'm currently seeing. So if there are things I need to check based on that alert, it's going to, help me with that. Please, you have a question? Go ahead with your question for clarification. I think you have similar incident, right, on your tenant from what you practice.
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
It's similar.
it's similar, right? Okay. Do you want to
Yes.
share your screen to? Do you want to share your screen?
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Let me. Yes, I can share it.
1 second.
Okay, I think you need to give me access to
Yeah,
share.
here you are. You have access now. You can go ahead.
Can you see my screen?
It's coming up. Yes, I can see your screen now. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So you have a multi-stage, yes? Then you have your brute force. Okay. So you can see, select the multi-stage. Select the multi-stage. I'm seeing the devices and click on it itself. Just click on the multi-stage itself.
So I've clicked on it now.
No, not on the arrow. The multi-stage incident itself.
Okay.
The URL itself. Yes, click on that. Yes, click on that. Yeah. wanted to see that. Okay, so you can see the attack story telling that custom protocols are maintained on a Windows 10, right? So I think the Windows 10 machine, the device is already linked to your Entra ID. Is that correct? It's one of the devices you've onboarded. Yeah. So
Yes.
so that's working with it's working alongside with the Microsoft Defender for endpoints for you there. So it's because that device has already been onboarded, so you're able to see the attack story. Then if you go to alert 77, alert 77, so that gives you all the list of alerts that are actually related to that particular incident. So you have a lot of alerts under it. Yes. So you have a lot of alerts there. So based on the ones you want to review, you can review them one after the other and check what is this actually about, and you're able to resolve issues, a successful response there for you. Yeah, you can scroll up. You can scroll up. So it's something that you can play around with to check. So the link itself that you click on is that it's actually navigates into the view page of all the line items. So that link, this gives you like a full page, a full pictures of everything that you have. So it's something you can actually play with since you already have it. You can just play alongside with it. So if you have any question that is not still clear at this point, you can ask based on understanding so far.
Okay, the only question I wanted to ask was where I saw the risky sign in alerts. I think that was risky sign in alerts. I can't remember where I saw that.
And you can just go back to that incident and go to the alert itself.
Okay.
Then can I go to alerts to now see? You can even search for the alerts name in the search box too. It's available for you.
Okay. Okay. I can search directly for the risky sign in, right?
Yes. Click on alerts. Click on alerts on the left hand side. Now on the left hand side in the plate.
Okay. Okay.
What's this? Yeah, there is no, okay, it's the incident you can search for actually. Yeah.
Okay, the risky signing, I actually saw it inside one of the details when you were navigating within the alerts. I think you were showing the details.
Yeah. Scroll down.
Okay, I think you clicked on the IP, then
Yeah. So depending on where the alert is coming from, right? Because my own alert, look at, no, go back there. Go back to where you were before. Because my own alert was coming from the AAD protection, Microsoft Entra ID protection. That's why it took me to the risk signing page, because Microsoft Entra ID protection is responsible for that. But for this, your own alerts, can you see that it's coming from Sentinel? Click on View Rule in Sentinel. View Rule in Sentinel. Go up. Can you see? Yes. So because this particular alert is coming from Microsoft Sentinel, so you will not see risky signing. Understand? So this basically, tells you that, oh, this is from the Microsoft Sentinel. So to take you to the portal where the alert came from. So this is different because that is a location where the alert came from. The one that I was demoing from my own tenants came from the Microsoft Entra ID, protection. That's AD protection. So that's why it took me to the Azure portal to review that basically. Okay, any other question?
No. No,
All
no
right.
other question for now.
All right, let me go back to presentation. Just 1 second. Okay, I'm sharing my screen again. Okay, all right. So you can see my under alerts. I'm able to see this alert is triggered by AED IP detection. So that's why it took me
Okay.
to the risky
Okay.
detection here. So depending on where the thing came from, that's where it will take you to, basically. Yeah.
So,
So again, for managing incidents, right, it is actually crucial in ensuring that threats are contained and addressed. So in Microsoft Defender XDR, you have access to managing incidents as we've seen on users, on devices, and on mailbox. And you can manage incidents by selecting an incident from the incident queue, like we did. Select the incident from the incident queue, and you can edit the name or the incident, resolve it, or set its classification and determination. You can also assign the incident, like mentioned, to yourself, or add an incident tags and comments. So in cases where you would like to move alerts from one incident to another during an investigation, you can also do so. So from the alert tabs, you'll be able to move incidents. What alert tab also does for you that it allows you to create a larger or a smaller incident that includes relevant alerts. So this is whereby you go to your alerts tabs here and you can see some relevant alerts. You can also create those alerts to form an incident. So we've already talked about editing an incident name, which I mentioned that incident name is automatically assigned based on the alert attributes, such as number of edge points and the likes, right? So other thing you can do for incidents as a SOC analyst is that you can set and classify your incident status either by categorizing incidents as active or resolved, or by changing their status as your investigation progresses. So this ability to update status helps you to basically organize and manage your team so that it can respond to incidents. For example, now, your SOC analyst can review the urgent active incidents for the day and decide to assign them to themselves for investigation. Alternatively, your SOC analysis might also set the incident as resolved if the incident has been remediated. Resolving an incident will actually automatically close all open alerts that are part of the incident. So if any of the incidents that we have here, if I close that first incident, for example, now, this particular incident, if I mark it resolved, every alert under it, will automatically be be closed as well. Every alert. Then we mentioned attack story and alert here. So alerts basically shows all the alerts under that particular incident. And this can be exported, right? If you want to maybe export to a CSV or not. Then assets. In terms of assets, you can see that for all assets are either classified as devices, users, mailbox, apps, or cloud resources. So for this particular incident, what is affected is a user. So I'm able to click on the users tab here. Then that will enable me to see, okay, the user that was affected, the user, what is user status? Is the user enabled or disabled users? I'm able to see other additional data available, the email address, the department of the users. Then I'm also able to see what are the investigations? Are there any automated investigation that has been carried out on this particular users? Currently, I don't have any data because no investigation has been done already. There's an investigation done already by this SOC analyst or this SOC engineer, and we'll be able to see what investigation has been done for that particular alert. Then on we have the evidence and responses. So under the evidence and responses, we are able to see, okay, what are all the evidence that are available. So it points me that the evidence that is available for me is an IP address, which is one IP address. So if I click on this, so I'm able to see that same IP address here, right? So it gives me additional details for that IP address. I can open the IP address, page. I can add indicators, right? Then I'm able to see what are the information relating to this IP address, the country. So I think we already see that. Then also we can view all the incidents and alerts in the IP page. So there are other incidents from the same IP. The other incident from the same IP as well. Once I click on this link here, it's going to take me to that particular incidents, give me the list of all the incidents that are available for that IP. Then we have the summary tab here. So the summary tab just give me it summarizes everything for me. So I'm able to get an holistic summary and overview of this particular incident in terms of alert and category, the number of alerts, the tactics that were used. It gives me that the evidence available, so the impact, how many users are impacted, and talking about scope, viewing the assets, right? What are the alerts, right? I have that summarized for me, basically. So those are some of the things we have available as a SOC analyst for incidents and alerts. And I told you at the point of resolving that incident, you have the option to add comments. Now you can add comments and view historical events about an incident to see previous changes that were made to it. So if you're going to make any change to a particular incident, it's always a best practice, to actually add a comment. Maybe you're moving the incident from in progress to resolve. So what are the things that are done on the incident? Why are we moving it from in progress to resolve? So you have the option to add that comment. So whenever a change or a comment is made to an event, it actually records in the comments and the history sessions. So added comments instantly appear in the pane. So once you add a comment, it will instantly appear. Let me go to this incident. So let me select this, for example. I don't want to resolve any of these things, but I want us to go further to investigate it. So, okay, let me just go back and manage the incidents. So if you notice, when it was in active state, I didn't have the comment option. But the moment I want to change it to resolve here, it brought what? The comment for me. So the essence is for auditing purposes, right? In case anybody wants to pick up this incident that was resolved, they want to know, was it automatically resolved? That's the automated response, or was it resolved by any of the SOC engineer? And why was the incident resolved? Basically, so that's capability is available as a SOC engineer for us. So still under the incident alerts. So we mentioned that the incidents page provide informations and different navigation links. So we have the alerts, we've seen that by actually viewing all the alerts related to the incidents and other information. Then we have the devices. So if there is any devices or assets, right, that are available for this incident. So we have them like devices, the users, the hub, the mailbox, then even the investigation, as well as the graph as well. So based on the incident, the attack categories gives you a visual and a numeric view of how advanced the attack has been. Gives you the vision how how advanced the attack has progressed against the attack queue chain. And as with other Microsoft security products, what Microsoft Defender X0 does that it's actually aligned to the Mitra attack framework. So I'm going to share your URL to read about the Mitra attack framework. So it aligns basically to it. There's a way an attack kitchen actually works. And the scope session for an incident gives you a list of top impacted assets that are part of this incident. So if there are specific information regarding these assets, such as a risk level that we saw earlier, the investigation priorities, and any other tagging on the assets, it will also surface in the session where we have the scope of the incident. Then the alert timelines provide a sneak peek into the chronological order in which the attack basically occur. And the reason that this alert is linked to that particular incident, I was talking about the alert story that we saw earlier for this other incident, but for this now, we only have just one for this. And the evidence sessions provide the summary of how many different artifacts were included in the incident and their remediation status. So you can immediately identify if any action is needed on your end, right? And this overview can actually help the initial triage of the incident by providing an insight into the top characteristics of the incident that you should actually be aware of. Now, again, I mentioned that for all alerts, you can view all alerts related to the incident and other information, such as the severity, the entity that were involved in the alert, the source of the alert, right? Be it Defender for Identity, Defender for Endpoint, Defender for H365, and the reason why the alerts were actually linked together. So by default, the alerts are actually ordered chronologically to allow you first view how the attack play out. So for this incident, let me go back to the multi-stage again. So it shows you how the alert actually, play out. So you can actually click on each alert, which will leave it to a relevant alerts page where you can conduct an in-depth investigation of the alerts. Then the devices, which is another tab that used to be available here. It lists all the devices where the alert is actually, related to. So by clicking on the name of each of the device that were affected, you are able to see, okay, currently there is no device that has been affected for this particular alert. Then the users, so you see the user that has been identified as part of the related or the given incident. So by clicking on the name of the user, you have you navigate to the Microsoft Defender for CloudHouse page where further investigation can be conducted. So we click on this user. Let me see if I have the license for that. So this basically, so if this user has a manager tied to the user, you're able to see the phone number of the user. You're also able to see other things like the blast radius, the intra ID risk level. So this is still talking about the protection, this risk detection page also. That's what it's going to take us to anyway. Right. Then what are some other policies that has been assigned to this particular user that is affected? So you're able to see, you want to confirm user compromise. So if truly the user has been compromised, you can click on this to confirm user has been compromised. Then for mailboxes here, so the other things you can do on the users anyway from their Microsoft 365 Admin Center. So this actually makes it to helps you to investigate the mailboxes that have been identified to be part of or related to the incidents. Why for apps, it investigates apps that has been identified to be part of the related incidents. So in terms of investigation, if you go to investigation here now, so you see all the automated investigation that have been triggered by alerts in this incident. So if at all there has been an automated response by the AI of the machine learning algorithm for the threat intelligence. Once you click on this investigation, it's going to basically populate all the things that has been done by the AI for you. So the investigation, like I said, sees all the automated investigation triggered by the alert in this incident, and the investigation we perform remediation actions or wait for an analyst to approve the action. So for now, for this incident now, we don't have any investigation, right, already. So you can check some of the ones you have if there are any investigation there. So once you select this investigation, it's actually, you navigate. If I thought we had an investigation here, once you select it, what it does is going to navigate into the investigation detail full page to get the full information on the investigation and the remediation status. So if any action is pending for approval as part of investigation, because this is like working with a co-pilot, right? The AI, the machine learning is going to do its own from the threat intelligence. So there are some things that it still waits for an approval for a SOC analysis. So as a SOC analyst, you have to review that investigation that has been done, and you wait if there is a pending action. So once there's a pending action, you'll be able to see that pending action, but unfortunately, we don't have any investigation here. Then for evidences and response, right? So most Defender XDR for Microsoft 365, actually, it automatically investigates all the incidents, supported events, and suspicious entities in the alerts. It provides you with an auto response and information about important files, processes, services, emails, and more. So this actually helps you to quickly detect and block potential threats in the incident. So for each of the analyzed entities, it will mark as either it is verdict, or it is malicious, it's suspicious, or it is clean. Like for example, now if you click on this, what is the verdict for this? It says the result suspicious. That's the verdict. So there are three things that it either tells you that, oh, this is suspicious, or this is malicious, or this is clean, right? And if there's any remediation status for it as well, it's going to actually, and what the entire evidence and response does to it, it helps you to understand the remediation status of the entire incident and the next steps to further remediation here. So you're able to see it basically guides you on all the locations and the likes. I wish you have other ones that we can actually see here. Yeah, so I mean that's then we used to have the graph. We used to have the graph. Let me see if it's on the incidents page. So right. So the mention the incident graph is actually the visualized associated with the cybersecurity threat information. So into an incident. So you can actually see the pattern and correlation coming in from various data points. And you can view such correlation through the incident graph here. So the graph, like I mentioned, just like the attack story here, it tells the story of the cybersecurity attack. For example, it shows you the entry points. Where is the attack coming from, right? Which indicators of the compromise or activities was observed on the device. I mean, it could be for the user as well. And you can actually select the incident graph to view the details of the malicious file. So if there's any malicious file, right, that has been associated with this incident, you can view. Okay, for me now, I'm able to see that. I can see the user details here. I can also see the alerts for the user. So that's everything about overview. So it's the same thing for no matter the number of the incidents you have, no matter the number of alerts you have, it's actually the same thing across board. Any questions so far?
I have two questions.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so one is now when we assign a specific incident or alert to one of the team members, how do they know? Do they receive an email or alert, or is there a way? Because I know if, for instance, if the incident is a high priority or high severity incident, right? We know that such incidents needs to be attended to in a very short time, as swift as possible. So how do they know how are they informed that, okay, so incident has been assigned to them so they can quickly start attending to it. Then the second question, okay, I think the second question is actually, I think I should be able to answer that. Let me ask the question though. The question was, at what stage do we start the containment? Is it okay? I know there is collect, detect, investigate, and respond. So do we wait for whosoever we've assigned the incident to investigate it first before responding, or we can see if that incident have been confirmed before? Do we confirm it that, okay, this incident, see, based on their priority and what we are able to see before assigning it? Do we contain it before now assigning it? Due to, I'm just looking at the time to respond, the time it might take to respond after assigning for the person to respond and all of that. Do we contain it first, primarily just to isolate that threat from spreading before assigning it? And when we assign, how is that information passed to the SOC analyst or engineer we've assigned the incident to? I'm kind of like confused there.
All right, good question. Good question. Now the system is so intelligent that as soon as this incident is assigned to this user, the engineer, he receive a notification via email, receive a notification. Now another thing that the team try to do, right? Ideally, as a SOC analyst, when you know that your work is to look for incidents, as you're signing it into the portal, where should you go first? Incidents, right? To see are there new incidents,
Yeah.
which there'll be new incident every day, right? But to answer your first questions, the user or the engineer is going to receive our notifications, and most of the times we are in the space of collaboration. Whether or not the organization is using Microsoft Teams for collaboration or Slacks or anything, there's a way it can be linked to the Teams channel, in which once an incident is assigned, the engineer will receive the notifications, right? Mostly via email notifications, then from the Teams channel too. So the SOC team has their own Teams channel, right? Where they do their collaboration on Microsoft Teams, right? So they as well also, individual users from their teams can get the notifications that, oh, this particular incident, but mostly is from the email that the users will get incidents. Then in terms of for containing the incident or how long the incident, yes, it's actually first very important that the incident is contained. Looking at playing the attack story, if you see that there's an incident that is still in progress, that is still happening in the organization, so it's always first of all advised that the incident is contained. And of course, once an incident is assigned to you, you don't even wait for an incident to be assigned to you, right? Even as a SOC analyst, once you go to the incident portal, you should be able to see the eye based on those incidents, right? Just you filter by priority, which is the severity A, which is a high one, right? From those side, you start working on those incidents. And again, Microsoft does something. One of the things you're going to do in the series is a Microsoft Security Copilot, right? Which is actually like an AI assistant to help the SOC team, you know, to move at the speed of the cyber threat. So as the threat is coming in, the AI, the Copilot, is able to assist even while the SOC engineer is sleeping, right? The AI is able to, the Copilot, that's the Microsoft Security Copilot, is also able to, assist. So it's part of the things we will discuss. But again, once the incident is assigned, the engineer will receive a notification via email that this particular incident, and this is a production account. I'll have signed into his mailbox so you can see the incident. So maybe probably you can test that in your environment, get a user that you have the username and the password. So you sign into the mailbox of the user, then assign one of the incidents or one of the alerts to the user and see the experience for yourself. Then most importantly, containing the incident as you have to see the incidents, especially incidents that are still in progress, such as maybe a device has been affected or a particular asset, a particular user has been affected. So a lot of times, most of those Defender Stopper, they work together, like without the Microsoft Entra ID protection, come into play, conditional access come into play, the user's access has been blocked. Maybe it's a case of a compromised user account, for example. Now, user access has been blocked to organization data. So most of these things happen automatically, except the one that requires approvers and the likes. So that's it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, so there's still so much to actually do. We still need to look into how do we now manage, investigate incidents? How do we manage, investigate alerts? All those alerts, how do we manage them? So we'll pick it up from there in our next class. Most likely going to be tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
Let me stop recording.